All right, so what type of fiber do we need? All right, so the constructions you need really, again, depend upon the application in hand and the hardware being used. From the very basic simplex fiber, we can go all the way up to 144 strands of fiber under a single jacket. So simplex is quite literally that. It's a single fiber in a single jacket. You can see those yellow Kevlar strings around that Stephen showed you, which should be used for pulling the fiber. I wouldn't recommend necessarily pulling simplex simply because, well, you can't fix stupid, right? If you run a simplex in the wall, it might be great. That's all you need for the hardware, but then sure as heck, somebody's going to come along and put a screw or a nail through to hang a picture or do something, and it's going to puncture that simplex and you're screwed. So I wouldn't recommend the use of a simplex, but I would recommend at minimum a duplex. And a duplex literally is two simplex side by side, fused together. They're bonded like a shotgun style cable, two fibers in two different jackets. All right, so that's by far and away our best selling product. This is what's used for interconnecting two network switches. It's used for a lot of AV devices now. Generally speaking, where you need a bi-directional type application, send and receive, you've got two different fibers being able to do that. Microdistribution is the use of 12 different strands of fiber, be it single mode or multi-mode, it can be either, in a single jacket. Okay, so you've got 12 strands of fiber in a single jacket. Very, very useful in high density applications where you're low on real estate. Maybe it's a tight conduit space, or your stud work doesn't permit you to run big cables. Microdistribution cable can get you a lot of bandwidth, a lot of infrastructure through a very tight space. Breakout cable is not dissimilar to a microdistribution, but each fiber has its own separate subunit. All right, so each fiber has its own jacket within the jacket. This is good if you're dealing with an application where the fiber is prone to or susceptible to physical impact of some sort. Okay, so if it just happens to be in an environment that is subject to maybe some slight impact to it, you probably want to use breakout because it's got that extra layer of protection. Now, above and beyond that, we go into our ruggedized or our direct burial style cables. These are used where there's a sure chance for direct impact or some kind of physical abuse. Rugged micro is a ruggedized jacket around the fiber with a rodent resistant and UV resistant jacket, but it's used primarily where you've already got a ductwork, so it can go outside, but it would be used within a ductwork. So the duct actually performs the physical barrier. So for a backhoe or a spade or a shovel going through it, the physical impact is protected by the ductwork, but the ruggedized jacket prevents any kind of rodent or moisture ingress or UV degradation over time. Okay, so it's kind of a midway point between the inside cables and the outside cables. Very, very useful. The corrugated and the aluminum interlocking, those are actually both armored as well. So you can actually, our corrugated armored steel can be direct burial. Okay, so if you don't have that ductwork running down under the ground, you can actually directly bury our corrugated armored steel and still have that physical impact protection. The aluminum interlocking is more of a commercial product. You quite often see these in commercial spaces like warehouses or parking decks where it comes pre-threaded in a corrugated interlocking aluminum shield. Tactical, this is again several strands of fiber, each with their own subunit, but the jacket on this one is kind of like a rubberized jacket. It has no memory to it. It's like a microphone cable. So this is ideal for temporary applications, rental and staging, live events, that kind of thing, where you're using it temporarily and you don't want it to have any memory because in the next application it's going to be used somehow differently. Okay, so it has no memory to it. Fiber and power is now popular. The fiber being carries the data. The power may be required for something like a PoE switch or a media converter, some such thing that needs power. Okay, so we got data now down the fiber and low voltage power down the two 18 gauge copper conductors there. We can also make bundled fiber as well, where we've got, in this case, two Cat 6s and two fibers in a single jacket. We can make pretty much any construction that you need, some kind of custom bundle that you require for your application. We would be able to do that.